protecting the game, right? The name of this symposium, and really it's enterprise value, but more importantly, if you do the right things on social media, you're going to increase your son's enterprise value, but at the same time you can destroy it, right? So, and I think that's really the takeaway, how not to destroy it and how to build it up and create a brand. So our next panelist, which I love having next big leaguers, and I consider him a dear friend, and we're like family, is, well, he's got a new nickname, because when Ron was the head trainer and consultant for the Marlins, Ron being in Miami, because we have a lot of Miami jokes today, he just assumes everybody in the clubhouse is Latino. So AJ Ramos gets called up in the big leagues in 2012, and Ron, unassuming, because his wife is Cuban, and he actually thinks he speaks really good Spanish, which he kind of does. He walks up to AJ and goes, "Mucho gusto." AJ's response is, "Hi Ron, how are you? I'm from West Texas." So I'd like to introduce AJ. Made his debut in the Marlins in 2012, making history as the first Marlin to strike out the first 3 batters he faced. A top reliever in a 2016 All-Stars, AJ set multiple franchise records, including a streak of 33 consecutive saves. After being traded to the Mets in 2007, he later played for the Rockies and Angels, retiring in 2022 with 99 career saves. AJ now works with MLB and Sirius Radio and hosts a YouTube series called The Locker Room, where he interviews athletes across sports on optimizing their success. And importantly, he has a very young daughter, Luna, and he is expecting baby number 2 while his wife is there.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Oh man, thank you for having me, and congratulations to all you guys for getting to this point and your sons. One of the things that allowed me to be as successful that I was my support system, was my family. And my mom taught me faith, to believe before achieving, which I feel like that's an important thing to do, because you want to be in the big leagues, you have to really believe that you can get there. And if you look at me, I'm not very tall. I didn't throw 100 miles an hour. There was a lot of things that I didn't project well, but the belief in myself, which was instilled by my mom, was that I believed no matter what. And for those negative times, my dad taught me logic, understanding, hard work. Those things helped me through those negative times, because one, I believed, and two, I thought about it logically. Sometimes when you get in these negative spaces, you get in these funks, it seems like it's never ending. But that's where you use your logic. That's where you use your faith. That's where you use hard work to get out of that. And those times are inevitable. So it's important to learn from those times, because those things are teaching you something. And you can learn from your successes as well, but you learn more from those failures. But the thing that you don't want to learn is to not to try to fail, because you're going to fail. And I think a lot of kids, they run into this, and that's where they get performance anxiety, because they're trying not to fail, and that's no way to play, as Danielle said earlier. So for me, I relied on that hard work, and when I had that support system, it felt like I couldn't fail. Even if I didn't make it in baseball, it's like I got my family still. And it separated who I was, the baseball player, from the actual human, which was me. And that allowed me to go out there and try to be great and just not afraid to fail. And that's the type of environment that you need to provide for your sons. You know, of course there's times where you've got to coach them and you have to, have the hard talks with them, but for the most part, I relied on my parents on those hard times. When I felt like I was failing or I couldn't achieve something, I would go talk to my parents, and they provided the love and stability and the drive to help me get out of those moments. And the same thing with success, because I didn't want to disappoint my family and mess up everything that I had done to get to that point by doing something stupid off the field. So they taught me that priorities are the main thing, because when I'm playing in high school and I'm seeing all my friends go to summer camps and vacations and spring breaks, I'd never had a spring break until I retired from baseball. So like I never knew what that was like. I didn't even walk in graduation because we were in state playoffs. I didn't go to prom. I didn't do any of that stuff because I was focused on baseball, which was a good thing. But the other part of this is that you can't be so far into something that you lose yourself in it. Because whenever you fail, then you associate yourself with that failure, then you think you are the failure. So being able to, one, have that relentless, hard drive, like, I'm going to succeed, but also do something to separate yourself from that sport or from whatever it is that you're doing so that you can maintain that drive and that you feel invigorated so you don't get burnt out, right? So those are things that like I relied on. And I think the word for me, if I had to sum it up, would be relentless. I was relentless in my work ethic. I was relentless in my pursuit of greatness. When I was drafted, most of your kids gonna get way more than that. I had to go to college, right? Which was great. There are many ways to achieve those goals. It's about making the path that you're on work. If you're sitting there thinking like, well, I could have signed for this, or I didn't sign for this, or I, missed the opportunity here, none of that matters. Same thing when your kids are on the mound or at the plate. Oh, I can't believe I missed that fastball. Can't believe I made that error. Those are thoughts that passed already that have nothing to do with what you got to do with right now. So it's about making whatever opportunity that you do get, even if it's through an injury or whatever, like make sure that you optimize it and you take advantage of it because you don't know how many you're going to get. Now, a lot of your kids may get a little bit more than I got because, again, I wasn't a big investment. I was $1,000 invested. And some of your kids are going to get way more than that. But the thing is whenever I got drafted, I found a first-round draft pick. Because on the team that I played on, it was a first-rounder, second-rounder, third, fifth, 7th, 8th, 12th, 15th, 19th, and then me. And what I was really good at, I was good at surveying the land and seeing what I needed to do to get better. And when I saw some of the first rounders, they were complacent. I got the cigarette. I got the notoriety. I got the juice. And I played on that. I was like, thank you. I'm going to work out. I worked out with that first rounder, and I lifted more weight than him. I made sure to line up on the line when we were doing our drills, our running. I smoked him because I had to figure out where I can add value. How can I stand out? I'm not going to stand out by looking at me. I'm not going to stand out by throwing 100 miles an hour. So what are the ways that I can do to get better? But if you have the talent of a first rounder and you have that same mentality, think about how great you can be. That's where you get the Garrett Coles, the Aaron Judges. I mean, if you're around Judge and you watch his process, you would think that the way he goes about his work that he sucks because he's so methodical about it. Because he knows that you have to optimize every opportunity that you get. It doesn't matter what type of talent you have. This game doesn't care. You're going to go through these hard times. You're going to go through, it doesn't matter. It can be over just like that. It was for me. I ended up tearing my shoulder, and that was it. And that's where baseball was over for me, but I was able to lean on the love of my family to be like, oh, I'm AJ Ramos, not the baseball player, not the all-star. I'm AJ. And that, for me, helped me transition out of the game and back into the love with my support system. And that's where you guys come in. So there are times to push your kid. There are times to, criticize and try to do it the best way. But for the most part, sometimes that pressure that you put, that I've seen some parents put on kids, it's like the parents want it more than the kid, and that can never be the case. You got to make sure that your kid wants it. And for me, I never felt like when I was coming up, I never felt like I had to practice. I never felt like I had to do any of that because it was fun for me, and it was for the love of the game. And so trying to cultivate that in your kid is also going to let them reach the highest of successes, but not allow that to be the defining moment of them because they are human, and they're more than what they do. Even to be more than a big leaguer is to to feel more than a big leaguer, just a big leaguer is important, because even being a big leaguer is limited to a certain degree. So, you know, continue to show your kids love, which I know you guys are, but be there for those hard times, and try to just give them as much support as possible, because I am beyond grateful for what my parents did for me, and it translated beyond baseball, because they taught me the skills, not to be just to be a good baseball player, but to be a good human, and those translate outside of the field of baseball, and then go to any profession that you want to go to when you cultivate that right. So thank you again, congratulations, and yeah, that's it, good luck.
Thank you, AJ. I think what he said is important.